Welcome to a social media special on All About Ads on NDTV Profit. Why are we discussing this? For three reasons primarily. Few brands continue to use social media as simply an advertising platform, something it's not. Two, obsession with numbers. Brands claiming that they have 1 million or so likes on social media. What does that really mean? And how are they using the number of likes, the number of fans? Three, obsession with return on investment or ROI and sales. And joining me to discuss this further, Tim Gilua, Senior Vice President, Head of Social Media Digitas, Wasim Bashir from Coca-Cola India, Anupam Vasudev, Chief Marketing Officer of Aircel, Shubho Sen Gupta, earlier with traditional ad agencies and was National Creative Director of a digital agency and currently consults with leading brands in India. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us on All About Ads. Before we carry on further, let's take a look at some numbers. Over 60 million Facebook users in India, that is over 5% of India's population. 15 million on Twitter, 20 million on LinkedIn, and 15 million on YouTube. Google Plus is, of course, a whole new world that people are still discovering. With those kind of numbers, clearly it is a universe on its own. So why shouldn't brand be using it? Let me start with you, Tim. What are the trends that you're looking at in India where brands are concerned?
Well, the thing is in India that many of the brands are thinking Facebook is social media and they are mixing Facebook with social media. I think we need to be on Facebook because we need to be where the fish are and to fish where the fish are. But basically, Facebook is just a part of social media. And you need to be able to have conversation on blogs as well. You need to be present on Twitter, on Google+, on LinkedIn, etc. But beyond the tool, first you have to know what is your marketing objective. You need to be able to stand for something, to keep a strong positioning and to be able to speak in social media with these pillars of conversation. Let's not forget the objective of a brand is to sell more product. And if you speak about social media, well, it's a very nice word, but it's just a way that digital has evolved since the recent years. So how can you make more business thanks to digital and thanks to social media? That's the key question. And if you forget this objective, you'll get lost.
Wasim, let's talk about Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola's global Facebook page has over 50 million users. But what is it that the brand is really doing? What has the brand achieved?
I think Coca-Cola is trying to achieve exactly the same thing from Facebook as it is from any other piece of communication that it puts out there. Whether it's on our trucks, on our bottles, on our television commercials, on our radio ads, on our outdoor, on brand Coca-Cola, you're trying to provoke happiness. Whether you're talking through the filter of an Olympic game or a football World Cup or just life. On Facebook, we do exactly the same thing. So building off what Tim was saying, you got to be clear about what you are and what you want to communicate. And that doesn't change just because now you can actually participate in a conversation. Actually, in some cases, being invited to be a part of a conversation that the consumers are having about my brand. Whether we like it or not, they talk about us. Something else that you mentioned is an obsession with numbers and return on investment. What is the value of a fan? So the value of a fan, according to our internal matrix and our internal research, is a fan on Facebook is 10 times more likely to buy your product. But that's what gives us confidence that these 53 million are just not numbers.
Anupam, let's talk about Aircel.
Just the number of fans you have, but how often they engage with you. And we found that the bulk of them are in the youth, the young space. You need to make events for them. For example, whether we have our Save Our Tigers program, participating and becoming part of connecting with the film world, which is with, we did a Buddy of the Year contest for a new movie here. And we had more than 1 million consumers just connecting with us on becoming part of that. There is a social media which is about being part of the conversations. There's also a possibility that over a period of time, social media will also become a revenue generator as well. I mean, if you look at the growth of, I would call the brands which have gone through in-home consumption like the Amway or the Tupperware are basically social media brands which have probably grown from the direct-to-home space. Now, the same thing could probably happen in the virtual world where consumers become participators in the whole process of revenue generation, which when the world becomes digitized and you can actually sell digital products, which we are into in terms of talk time and money transfers, you are actually making consumers part of not just being consumptions, but as well as part of revenue generation.
Let's talk about certain specific examples of how brands have actually leveraged this and made it commercial.
So it depends on what the category is, what the brand is. So there are different areas. For example, I do a lot of workshops for non-profits, NGOs, etc. So the first thing they say is, we want to do social media because we want to raise funds. So I tell them, listen, it's not that easy. You can't just jump in and ask people for money, especially in a country like India. Do you need very good staff? You have a staffing problem. Bright kids don't want to join an NGO. So why don't you tell your stories, right? And then these kids will come in, right? So, it could be a recruitment tool also. Finally, it does have a numbers kind of effect, a positive effect. Sales doesn't mean selling a product, like Wasim was saying. It's creating an aura around the brand, which could be monetized in some cases.
But it could be.
Yeah,
it could
of course,
be monetized, and several brands have used the platform to monetize.
I think it was Lee's. Retail-facing brands are in a very interesting space on social media because they can drive traffic to their outlets. I mean, it could be Coke driving people to a Coke Studio concert also. If there's a consumer-facing, on-ground kind of thing.
ICICI Bank, where 971,000 people just on Facebook. That's an impressive figure. More likely, if I was an employee, I would like that page. Locate a branch or ATM. Once you click onto that, you are sent to the main website. What does it achieve really on Facebook?
I'm not saying that's a fantastic example, but they've taken the right steps because that audience is on Facebook most of the time. So it's very easy for them to find out what's happening in their account. There's a Coke Rewards program on Facebook. You don't have to leave Facebook. You can, punch in your PIN number and, get these rewards on Facebook itself.
Banks, when we're talking about ICICI, you can actually bank there. But, then this whole concept of using mobile apps and therefore, having a smartphone, so then it becomes app-oriented.
Yeah, I know a lot of people and, online who check their accounts or whatever from the Facebook thing. Yes, it is cumbersome, going like this, but they do it, yeah. So it's
on social media.
Yeah,
on social media, because I would hesitate from doing that. If you look down the page, it's more the bank communicating its products rather than an engagement.
Yeah,
so
but
again,
who wants to engage with a bank on Facebook of all places, right?
We work with Axis Bank, and we got lots of fun on Axis page. Okay, less than 1 million, but we are going to reach it soon. Many people who go to Facebook to ask some question. So we have created a space with Get Satisfaction, which is a kind of forum to be able to answer to customer. Second thing, what is relevant to talk about when you are a bank? Well, online banking. What can you propose specifically to your fan, for instance? Can you propose them some coupon because they are Axis Bank customer? Could you propose them some special, some special event, VIP event, some stuff like that? So there is always a possibility to engage people, even with financial sector, which is not the easiest way to do.
We'll continue this conversation after this short break, where we'll take a look at top brands on social media.
India's #1 news app just got even better. Download NDTV's new app, fully optimized for Retina display, full screen view, faster response time, and Sudoku. NDTV's new iPad app. Download now.